Live once again with the Onyx Path News. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This week we as ever have new announcements to make. Thank you very much for tuning in for them. Last week we released Bloody Boroughs for Trinity Continuum Assassins, a source book that concerns the Big Apple, New York City. The various shadow societies operating there. It's a book full of black boxes, lots of new operations for your assassins to undertake, lots of fresh material, and the author list on this one is really quite fantastic. Some of our community content list of greatest, most prolific creators, really talented stuff. So I really recommend checking it out. If you've not had a look at Trinity Continuum Assassins yet, it's probably, I'm going to go so far as to say, my second favorite of the Trinity Continuum line. I know that's a controversial thing to say. But I do really love Assassins. I think there's so much potential for what you can do with it, whether you're running a Hitman 47, Agent 47 kind of game, Kill Bill kind of game, whether you're going for a John Wick, or indeed, in fact, oddly, with Rat in a Burning Cage, which we released for Assassins, this book, it takes a strong cue from William Friedkin's Sorcerer. So there's so many media inspirations for Trinity Continuum Assassins, and as you'll know by my love of They Came From, I'm a big fan of media inspiration, especially when it's worn on its sleeve. Do check out Bloody Boroughs. If you're a fan of the kind of dystopian wasteland that New York is often portrayed as in the movies of the 1970s and 80s, I think you're going to get a lot out of this book. It really has a strong feel for what New York is, or what it is in Assassins, and it is linked directly below. That isn't the only thing we released last week. We also went ahead and released various VTT assets, wallpapers, and such for They Came From the Cyclops' Cave, and They Came From Classified. I've seen some people on our Discord asking, when are we going to be doing more virtual tabletop support for They Came From? Well, here some of it is. And I have to say, I absolutely adore the artwork in these books. So if you don't already have the wallpapers and such for them, do check them out. We are also over halfway through our At the Gates Back-A-Kit campaign. We have done things like unlock chibi pins now, along with all kinds of other stretch goals. And that was a stretch goal based on the number of backers rather than the amount we raised. We're playing around a little. We like to experiment with our crowdfunding campaigns for unlocking different things. So if you're a big fan of pins, if you like chibis, and I've spoken at length before about my love of JRPGs, and how they influence At the Gates, then you're going to love what we're doing with that crowdfunding campaign. It is by all measure exceeding our expectations right now. It's so wonderful to see it doing well. Another game in the Earthbane cycle. At the Gates, the world below, how are they connected? So many people have been asking that question. There are certain ideas, teasers, links there in each manuscript that you might be able to find if you look closely enough. Some will be more obvious than others. And is it going to be so obvious as some kind of linear, chronologically linear arc from one to the other? We'll have to see. But if At the Gates continues doing well, who knows? Maybe that means we'll get to create another game that fits into the Earthbane cycle. Certainly, there are plenty of ideas floating around. And hello to Bro Meliad. Always lovely to see you in the chat there. What else do we have going on? Well, it isn't just about Trinity Continuum Assassins. It isn't just about They Came From. It isn't just about At the Gates. I'm going to refer to a game that I've only really been referring to in vague terms until now, and that is Deviant the Renegade. No, it isn't. It's Curseborn. There's a game that's being developed called Curseborn, Onyx Path Publishing. Yeah, you might have heard of it. I think it might be a pretty big deal. Well, if you are looking for insight into what Curseborn is about, the kind of game it is, there's a few very good places you can go. They are not linked in the video description below. You do need to look them up yourself, but here they are. If you're on RPGNet, do look in the tabletop role-playing forum. There is a massive thread at this point that contains a lot of compiled information about Curseborn. So if you're a reader, that's a good place to go. If you prefer your content in video form, well, there are now character creation videos for Curseborn, and I'll try and remember on which channels they all exist. We have a character creation video for, I think, The Hungry on Queen's Court Games. We have a character creation session for The Dead on Fiendish Foundation. We have character creation for the Primals, and this is where I'm going to start breaking down a little, on Dork Tales. We have character creation for the Sorcerers on Rolling Nomads, and we have an upcoming character creation session for the Outcasts on the Old Ways podcast. So there are a few places, more than a few places, for you to check out if Curseborn is something that is intriguing you, something that's interesting you. Last place to check out is a channel with the name of Awkward GM, or Awkward GM Corbin, because somehow this wily bastard managed to get his hand on a promo for Curseborn that, well, let's say he wasn't supposed to have his hands on it. So he has been doing a little more than speculating. He has some evidence as to the nature of Curseborn in his hands. And, well, I can't force him to take it down. So do check that out if it is something that interests you. Otherwise, keep your eyes open for Onyx PathCon, where we've already announced what the schedule is going to be. You can check that out on theonyxpath.com and look out for a panel where we discuss Curseborn in very clear detail. I know a lot of people have been... no, we're not going to send Pinkertons after Awkward GM Corbin, although I have considered it. There's obviously been a lot of, I guess, dancing around in terms of the teasing of Curseborn. That has, of course, been deliberate. It's not to everyone's tastes, but certainly to ours. And if you're looking for a clear, I guess, announcement of what Curseborn is, what it's about, and its content, the kind of games you'll be playing with whatever Curseborn happens to be, Onyx PathCon is a very good place to find out. That is where we will be recording. Your best bet is tuning in live because it will allow you to ask questions in the chat. So do give that a look. I'm telling you, you're going to want to. Anyway, I must head off with that revelation dropped rather surreptitiously in a video, the description of which doesn't mention Curseborn once. I will speak to you all again very, very soon, except maybe not next Monday because I'm going to be at the UK Games Expo over the weekend. But we'll work something out, viewers, we'll work something out. Until then, bye-bye.